Hey everyone, it's FLAK. It's been a while. I missed you. Battlefield 2042 limped out of the gate, hamstrung by bugs and other problems. DICE and EA promised that improvements were on the way, but have they finally delivered? Well, over the last few months, developers have slowly rolled out updates to the game, like the scoreboard, for example, culminating in what they're calling version 4.0. The newest update adds some important features that have been missing and includes much needed gameplay tweaks in addition to your standard bug squashing fare. For this video, we're going to run down some of the most notable changes in the recent update. And first and foremost, I think it's important to mention that DICE have now added proper voice chat features. I want to stress this was inexcusable that it was not in the game from the beginning, especially for a franchise that has been so team-oriented in the past. There are a couple options for voice chat now in Battlefield 2042. You've got party and team, and obviously, well, that should help players better communicate. Meanwhile, weapon attachments received a major overhaul. In previous builds, some attachments had effects that were too similar to others, and it was unclear what the impact on weapons would be when switching between these various attachments. So, DICE have changed some of the descriptions. They've also streamlined the UI a bit so it makes some more sense. Specialists in Battlefield 2042 did get an initial overhaul in 4.0. It's not the big update that you might be hoping for. Much of that's still up in the air. We don't know exactly what DICE is going to do with specialists in Battlefield 2042 for the long run, but they have specifically said that they are not done reworking specialists. So what I'm about to talk about is not the end of the road here, but a few characters did get some more noticeable reworks in the latest patch. Specifically, all vehicles can now smash through Irish's deployable cover. Dozer now becomes vulnerable for a short time after his ballistic shield is hit by heavy fire. Rao's cyber warfare suite is now more responsive, and his original trait revealing nearby enemies after killing a hacked enemy that has now been replaced with what was Pake's threat perception trait, automatically revealing enemies that damage him. Meanwhile, Pake's threat perception trait has been replaced by one called Eagle Eye that lets you spot enemies when you deal damage to them, and supposedly they are revealed for the entire team. Boris's infamous turret can now be run over and destroyed by tanks, so that's an improvement there. Valk's Ret pistol can now be equipped while swimming. DICE improved McKay's ability to grapple onto vehicles, and perhaps the biggest specialist changes impact Sundance in this patch. Devs say it will be easier for players to hear the specialist's wingsuit when they're approaching. Meanwhile, their smart grenade got an overhaul. Players will be able to tab through the modes of the smart grenade faster, which was one of my bigger complaints. I just really like things to be responsive, and 2042 up to this point really hasn't been. The scatter grenade will detonate quicker, while DICE has reworked how the anti-armor grenade tracks targets. Under the new parameters, it should be much more effective at targeting what you're actually aiming at instead of, just yeeting itself across the map after a random enemy way off in the distance. I have tested this to some extent now with the new update. It is much improved, actually works well. And a neat tidbit here in the notes is that if the grenade doesn't track and it lands on the ground, previously it would just explode. Instead, now it sits on the ground until a vehicle is nearby. And then it pops up and chases that vehicle. That essentially makes it basically like a light anti-vehicle mine. I'm not sure how long it stays on the ground. I'm going to test that out. Maybe I'll do a new details video here soon, but use that in game. I thought that was pretty cool. Meanwhile, support actions were overhauled in the new update. In most cases, XP rewards for team-oriented actions were increased significantly, while objective-based rewards were decreased slightly. HUD improvements were rolled out as well. DICE added scaling options for the minimap team, personal log, world log, player vehicle info, chat, and vehicle passenger list. Many players missed this feature in Battlefield 2042, so it is nice to see it return. Similarly, you can now scale objective icons over distance. And I have to say, overall, I am really happy with this patch. A while back, I called Battlefield 2042 a frustration simulator. DICE has fixed some of the most annoying issues here. There's still a little bit more to go with this, but for example, they fixed the slight delay on the extended magazine PBX-45 after reloading. DICE fixed an issue where the player would not be able to jump or vault after reviving someone. Had that happen a lot. Hated that. Tabbing through Sundance's grenades, I mentioned that earlier, was stupidly sluggish. It is much improved now. They also found the missing bullet on the M44 revolver, which was something that occurred while reloading. On a similar note, I'm also thrilled to report that they toned down the sprinklers on some of the maps. Those run for about half the time now. They no longer deal damage, and the HUD impact has been reduced a lot. That was one of those things that probably sounded nice on paper, but was just incredibly frustrating to run into in the game. So Battlefield 2042 much better off without it. The new patch represents a big improvement for overall gameplay and balancing. A ton of bug fixes listed in the patch notes, more than I could cover in a video here, so I'm going to leave that link in the video description, but it is full of some gems, and there's a lot of little hidden things in there. You'll look closely, you'll see some neat info, like guys sort of adding an ejector seat, quote-unquote, to the F-35E Panther when it's in hover mode. We got to pour one out for hovercrafts. Devs tweak the boost to avoid it going up walls. Again, full patch notes available with the link in the video description. I am curious if you've had a chance to boot up Battlefield 2042 again since the new update, or maybe if this might encourage you. Still no word on when new content is coming for the game, but developers say pretty much the entire dev team remains on Battlefield 2042. And I want to be optimistic about that. I will say that the new patch here has done a lot for my confidence in the dev team, because it does seem like they are committed to the game. But, I think we really got to play a game of wait and see for that with the future content. I think that'll tell whether or not EA and DICE are committed to backing up this game. I do think we're finally approaching the point where Battlefield 2042 should have been at launch, at least from a technical perspective. Developers still have to respond to the larger critiques of Battlefield 2042, like specialist, player count, general map design, but again, progress being made on that last front. Additionally, EA recently mentioned the game is getting an overhaul to mood and tone, which should make the experience a little bit more enjoyable, a little bit more even-keeled for everyone. So, looking forward to seeing what Battlefield 2042 has ahead of it in the future. DICE and EA, though, got to get that roadmap out. We need to know where this game is headed if you want us to invest our time in it. But good job on the patch. Enjoying it so far. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If not, a dislike. Make sure to subscribe. Tap the bell to get notified of all the latest Battlefield videos. If you want to support the channel, you can keep your money or check out our sponsors down in the video description. You can also share this video. That goes a long way to help as well. Again, leave me your thoughts on the update down below in the video comments. I would love to read those. I do every time. But in the meantime, thanks for watching.